What's up, guys? It's Eddie Sabreco from AMD, and you're watching, let me get this right, Gearheads and Gasoline, not the other way around. Gearheads and Gasoline.
It's really highlighting the hustle has kind of been our push, is highlighting the hard work being done and the hard work that people are doing and the success that they're having. I think highlighting and showing those stories, that's really what I think, that's part of the real mission. It's highlighting the hustle. How do we create a culture shift? It's instead of just showing the pocket full of money and the fast cars, it's like let's highlight the journey. Let's start incentivizing people to want to work hard and want to weld and want to create versus just want to be rich already.
Welcome to the Gearheads and Gasoline podcast, where we dive into the high-octane world of market-leading shop owners, shop employees, and automotive enthusiasts from the aftermarket, restoration, performance, and racing industries. So strap in as we take you on an awesome journey with our guests as they share their real-life stories, lessons learned, business advice, and unfiltered insights to help you beat the school of hard knocks. Gearheads and Gasoline, fueling your success.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Gearheads and Gasoline, powered by Redline Oil and AMD. I'm Barry Alt with Motorhead Digital, and joining me as guest co-host today is Jason Chandler from Automotive Direct. Today, we're excited to welcome Aaron Valencia, founder of the Los Angeles Career Center, to the show. Welcome, Aaron.
Happy to be here. Good morning, guys.
We're excited. Been looking forward to this episode for a while.
Yeah, so I've got a quick question. We start off every podcast, Aaron, with a real brain teaser here. So, what is Aaron's favorite drink? Does he have a beverage of choice?
Honestly, coffee, black coffee. I stopped drinking energy drinks. It's black coffee and water. That's really where I'm at. And I think coffee is 90% water, so I think we're pretty good. But yeah, black coffee and water. That's it.
Same. Nice.
Nice.
Yeah,
I've I wasn't a coffee drinker forever until like 2017. I always loved the smell of it. And one time I went to an event and I stayed up a little too late and then started drinking coffee. And now my doctor's telling me, you can't have coffee. It's like, I'm super bummed.
Yeah.
It's my favorite vice. I love it.
Yeah. I fear the day. Yeah.
Cool. So Aaron, you had a hot rod shop. And then how was that before everything changed and you got into the Los Angeles Career Center?
Well, it started just years ago. I was in construction, and then I was commuting for work, and then I was kind of building cars in the garage after work, getting home, pounding a Red Bull, and I'd stay up till 10 working on cars in the garage, building, doing chop tops and building classic cars and just having fun and kind of learning. And opened a small shop and just ran a little 800 square foot shop and just started just building cars and selling them on eBay. And then people were coming to me going, "Hey man, I like that car you sold. Could you do that to my car?" And then all of a sudden it went from, using every penny I had to build a car to sell it on eBay. And it went one of those things. Every time the car hit, it was for sale on eBay. I was eating top ramen until it sold. And then however, the couple weeks until the guy picked it up and I was able to, recoup that money and then go again. So it's just this constant struggle. And then it was working on other people's cars. Now I'm using their cars, using their money to build cars the way I want for that. It worked out really well. And I really just had a great time building custom cars and just had a small hot rod shop, nothing crazy. I had one employee and we just worked in sequence and got stuff done really fast, even through the recession. Back in 08, 09, we never had time off. We just kept working because we worked really fast, really precise, and got cool cars done quick and had a good reputation.
Nice. You got a name for yourself there. Were you doing SEMA builds or anything like that back then?
No, not really, nothing. It was really just having fun building. It was more of, I come from the like earlier like chop Mercs, custom little shoebox Fords, little hot rods, Model A Roadsters. I come from that kind of scene.
Oh, okay.
And then kind of getting more into, so for me, it was like, even at that time, it was like SEMA was like, that was just a different realm that I had no interest in. I was like, we were in the gutter building little hot rods and stuff. So it was like, I had no interest. SEMA was just so above and beyond my realm that it wasn't even like of interest, to tell you the honest truth.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just so far, it was so far away that it wasn't even like something on my radar.
Nice. And eBay was a big thing. Now it's Facebook Marketplace now for everybody to
Yeah,
trade
marketplace.
and to
Yeah,
ship
yeah. I
it.
think I don't know where eBay's at with all that, but yeah, marketplace is the devil. If I can't sleep, that's where I'm just like looking up like, oh man, look at these tires. I think I need these. So I'm like, I'm doing the whole like Joe Dirt in the auto trader, like
Right.
looking at old cars I can't afford.
Oh,
Like,
right.
hey
I'm
man,
looking at
death scroll.
ever since I've been
Mhm.
working with AMD and Level 7 Motorsports, I'm on Marketplace every night looking at C10 trucks. I'm
Yeah,
just, and I show my wife and she goes, finish your Corvette first, will you?
yeah.
You know,
Do we need another one?
yeah. Yes, we do.
Just
That's
one
my
more.
Yeah,
opinion,
Just one
anyways.
more.
So,
Yeah.
um, what was the big turning point as far as getting into working with youth and creating Los Angeles Career Center? Can you kind of give us, how you ended up doing that and the path to where you are now?
yeah. It's kind of. I mean, it's kind of funny. I don't. It kind of really started. I had a small shop and just working, and I think I was just existing. I was just working on building cool cars for people, and that was about it. I was just paying my bills and surviving, and it was just, um, that was it. It was just steady work, and I think I it was just on a whim. It started. It was the night before Thanksgiving, maybe 2011, and I just didn't have much going on. Didn't have a lot of family, didn't have a lot of anything going on the next day for Thanksgiving, and it just kind of popped up in my head like, man, I got nothing going on. I bet there's a soup kitchen around here somewhere. I know there's a homeless shelter.
Right.
There's a soup kitchen. Let me see if there's maybe they need help. Maybe I go volunteer and just kind of be of service for the day, help out. And I called. They said, hey, if you wanna, I found their number, and they called. They say, hey, if you guys want to be here tomorrow at 9, we're giving out turkeys. You want to come through and help? Come through and help. I showed up that day at 8:30 and was helping, prepare turkeys and give away food and did this whole thing all day long. And honestly, I was hooked. It was just that being of service and helping out people and helping out and kind of remembering where I was at one point, kind of being homeless and struggling and just
Right.
growing up without limited resources and seeing a lot of families and kids in the food lines. It just sparked something, and I went from that day working at a soup kitchen to then I came back they said, hey, we do this 3 days a week. So I was there 3 days a week after work, cooking spaghetti, making food for people, and kind of just being a part of that. And it took off, and I was there for a couple of weeks. People thought I was there doing community service, because the way I look, whatever. And they were just like, who is this guy that's just coming through and helping? Uh, and after a while, they were like, "Hey, we see you here all the time. We could really use your help. Could you take over, the third Sunday of the month, and we'll give you the key to the place and the alarm code. Could you do it?" And it was all right. Yeah, they didn't even know me really, and they were just all of a sudden they gave me. So now I had a responsibility. I think they actually tricked me into it.
All
To
right.
Did
They
they
were like, "All
really?
right, let's get responsibility. We'll get them hooked in here." And yeah, so the next couple of years, I did ran a soup kitchen there in Lancaster at Grace Resource Center, and it was uh it was kind of really a few years of doing that, and I'm watching the same families come in every week, and I'm watching these kids grow up in the food lines. And it was honestly, it was this one dad, and he had a little girl, and when I first started, the little girl was just an infant, in his arms. And then over the years, I found myself giving the same little kid school supplies for the first day of school, a
Right.
backpack and
Yeah.
pens that I had collected throughout the week. So I'm like, man, this little girl, like their futures are laid out for them. I was like, I could do something different than just a plate of food. And so I had that small shop, had a bunch of extra parts, had a Model A, most of a Model A roadster body left over, and frame rails from another project and some tires. Ended up putting together a whole project, a whole Model A roadster, built fully restored, and sold raffle tickets and raised money for two different shelters just for the kids of these two different homeless shelters to have a
Okay.
cool experience where they went to Disneyland, got a new pair of shoes, and just turned into a really
Oh,
cool event.
that's an awesome story. Love that.
Yeah, just created my own little giveaway raffle for kids that were homeless. Is kind of how it started, and it kind of took off. And it was just I was hitting up, sponsors and companies that I had worked with that had worked with my company for years, and it was I wrote a list of people I thought that would come on board and companies I thought that would help, and this will be something positive and really cool.
Right.
I really got almost zero help that
Wow.
first year because people didn't understand it. They didn't really like. you're a small shop and you're working with kids that are homeless. No one really wanted to get involved and didn't really understand what it was. And and I think that just actually pushed me even harder to make it work. And it was kind of a big borrow steal those first couple of years, and it worked. And people saw. I think that's what it was. The people that I was hoping that would be involved weren't really interested, but the people that I'd never met before that saw it online and that got involved, that just out of the kindness of their heart, just kind of saw it and was like, "This is cool. I want to be involved."
Right.
Not out of obligation, but just out of their own heart. That's what really like launched us. I think is people that just showed up on their own.
How did
And
the kids get interested? Did you just tap them on the shoulder saying something that they did or something they said that you thought,
no,
hey, this might be cool for you, or what? How?
no. So it was so I did that first giveaway.
Yeah.
Did a second year giveaway, and I started getting a little bit of whatever notoriety online, or where people were realizing something was happening. And I always had, my shop was always kind of cool. We had music and we did cool cars and we'd ride skateboards and dirt bikes. Like the shop was always cool. So people always gravitated towards the shop to like weld a bicycle or fix something. So people were always coming by, and it just
Okay.
became a thing of like, I can I can either, raise money for shelters, or I can turn my shop instead of like give a man a fish, teach a man to fish kind of sense. Whereas like instead of raising money for shelters, I can actually turn my shop into like an after school program. I could teach a class. I could teach people how to weld. I was doing
Right.
this anyway. I was teaching people how to weld a little bit, teaching kids. I could make something out of this. And reached out. I had a couple kids that were down, and then reached out to the local Boys and Girls Club, and I said, "Hey, I'm gonna start doing this thing. Do you have anybody that'd be interested?" And they were like, "We got a couple kids." So they brought a couple kids. We had a few people, and I started a Saturday class just teaching people how to weld, and teaching a few kids, 13 to 18-year-old, teaching them how to weld. And then really, I saw the interest, and then once I did it that first day, I realized I can't not do this. This is what I'm doing now.
Right.
And so I have a hot rod shop throughout the day, and then at 2:30 I'd send my employees home, and then I had a bus full of kids from the after school program or from Boys and Girls Club and other places would show up. We'd have a plate of food, and we'd start welding and doing blueprint and airbrush skateboards, and it just kind of turned into this whole after school program. And I had no idea what I was doing. I was just figuring it out,
You were doing it.
Yeah,
Right.
doing it. Started with 4 kids, and it turned into, 15 kids come into this hot rod shop, after school. And then, to be honest, it was doing a few years of the after school program, and I realized now I got these kids. They're predominantly foster, mostly high barrier, low income kids. Some kids doing community service for
Right.
getting in trouble. Kids that got kicked out of regular school and they're in continuation school. So I was working with all kids that were just like me, just like us growing up, that had limited resources. They were already on the wrong side of the tracks, or they were people that didn't want to, and they were kids that nobody wanted to invest in, and people that kids that nobody knew how to deal with. And it was like, man, this is when you put tools in people's hands and create a little bit of structure and a caring environment where it's like, no, bro, we got you. Come on, we're gonna work on this car. We're gonna do something that's it's cool. It's not just, hey, play basketball and you got a plate of food, or it's a different avenue. And people gravitated towards it. And so what was happening is I got kids that were graduating high school, they were getting a driver's license, they were progressing, and then they hit 18 and I had nothing more for them. And they were coming back going, hey, I'm trying to get this job at Taco Bell, or trying to get this job at Walmart. And it's like, dude, you know how to weld. You can read blueprints. We pulled a motor together. You can do these things.
Right.
We could shoot higher. We
Right.
could shoot
Oh,
higher
that's awesome.
than that retail. So we started working with, we have a lot of friends. The car community is so diverse that most people that are into cars, or so we work in an aerospace, we're out here in Lancaster, Palmdale. There's a lot of aerospace companies out here, Lockheed, Northrop, Edwards. So a lot of guys that work out there are car people. So I had already had relationships with people that worked out at Northrop, and they heard what we've done, and we're like, hey man, we're looking for, is there any job openings out there? And they were like, yes, we need people. Well, we got people. And it just became this
Right.
like, wait a minute, we can connect the dots here. So we created this whole work program for 18 to 24, and created a whole, so I had 18 to 24-year-olds come through in the morning
Mhm.
from 8 to 3. They would leave, then I had my after school kids show up from 3:30 to 7. And it was kind of a crazy setup right there. It was kind of that's kind of where the coffee thing got going, so
Yeah.
Started working with the older kids, getting them jobs, and working with the high school kids, getting them incentivized to get jobs.
Hey guys, you're watching the Gearheads and Gasoline podcast. I'm Jason with AMD. Check this out.
That's awesome. I actually just finished reading a book about the Skunk Works, and the guy Ben Rich was the CEO there for a while, and he talked about losing people in the industry when the government cut back, and losing people with skills and stuff. So it's nice to see that you're helping fuel that pipeline. And those are high paying jobs too. Even I'm sure way more than even automotive space.
Yeah, and it just depends. It's finding the right space. So I think the automotive and aerospace are they're so similar where and I always say, like, the cars is great. Let's find a shop to get you working at. But until then, if cars are your passion, you want to build a truck, you want to build a car, you want to build a race car, a drift car, a lowrider, beautiful. Let's get you working a 9 to 5 right now. Let's get your skills up. Everybody comes in and they want to open their own shop. Beautiful. There's so much to learn before you go open a shop. It's not what you think. Let's get some skills and some attention to detail and some structure under your belt. And then when you get some more years under your belt, open a shop, man. It's beautiful. But let's get you working 9 to 5, get your stability. Let's get you working probably in aerospace somewhere. You're going to learn precise measurements, attention to detail, and then you're going to work on your project on the weekends and at night. Let's build that real passion up. Let's get your 9 to 5 and then get your passion. And then later, once you feel you got a little more stability, if you want to open a shop, if that's what you want to do, man, let's go 100%. But it seemed to be that is kind of the path for a lot of our young people right now, just because there seems to be a lack of shops for young people to jump right into that are going to respect them, nurture their creativity, and that understand that they're entry level. It's kind of hard. So a lot of shops, they're starving not for entry level, but for second, third level. They're looking for high producing people. And if you throw somebody that's entry level in there, it becomes a frustrating space. And without the right environment, it might not be a good fit. So there are some shops out there that understand that internship level. Let's bring you in at entry and let's build you up. But a lot of guys are moving so fast, it's kind of hard. So
Yeah, that's a great point. If you're trying to get more shops involved, they need to be open on a larger scale to that entry level worker.
yeah,
And coming from a program like yours, they're even better equipped as an entry level employee than most.
yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of shops, everybody needs help right now. There's shops that are dying from just lack of workers. So it's like, we got it, but it is one of those things where there's a responsibility of the employer to create a growth pathway. Understanding these guys are not going to come in, these guys or girls are going to come in and understand how to, rebuild engines right from the gate. There's going to be a learning curve, but you have to create that pathway to grow up.
Yeah, I can tell you that when I was looking for employees, that it was a good thing for having, non-experienced staff that you can mold and train to what your needs are,
Yeah.
and then bring them along in the process and give them that experience that's unique to your company is huge.
Exactly. I think that's where a lot of our aerospace partners, they're saying the same thing. And that's really where a lot of what we're doing in our 12-week program. It's really, I'd say it's 60-70% work ethic and over the skill level. Skill levels come if you're excited and you're learning. We're pushing all that for sure. But the work ethic piece, that's the bread and butter of. We have zero tolerance for showing up late. Zero tolerance for having your phone or your vape on you. That stuff stays in your locker. All those distractions, let's remove all those and let's incentivize you to push yourself to be a good employee. That's what we say. If you're late one time, it's 10 push-ups or a 250-word essay on why being on time is important. Second time you're late, it's turn around and go home. Try again tomorrow, bro. I got no energy for being late. We have to create structure, because what happens, people show up to work late, like, oh, sorry, my bad. Like, no, that doesn't work, bro. You'll get fired for that. So we got to start with that here to create good work ethic that employers like yourself can now we have a moldable person that is a good worker that's going to show up on time and give it their all. And now they're teachable, they're trainable, and they're moldable. We don't have to go back and be training somebody about showing up on time. Let us take care of that part.
One of the things I've talked to, a couple things with shops that I've talked to that we work with, some they're so busy, they just don't have the time to train, which I get that, but they need to figure that out, right? On the flip
Yeah.
side, they've had employees come in that sweeping the floors below them, or they want to be the boss like 2 weeks in,
Yeah.
and they have this I don't know where they get that from, but they do not. What you're teaching the kids is, look, some days you're going to sweep the floor. You might even clean the toilet in the bathroom, but you have to start somewhere and you have to do what needs to be done, right?
Yeah. I think so. It's a great point. I think it's structured. So a lot of what people do, we were talking about it with another conversation the other day about that most people, they started and they swept the floor like body shops. You sweep the floor for 6 months. Nobody's doing that anymore. That old style of apprenticeship, that old style of like get a kid in here and they're just gonna do grunt labor for 6 months and you gotta earn it. That culture, that style is dead. Nobody's gonna respond to it, and that's why companies are failing. They still have that old guard. My thought is, hey, if you want to bring some people in, let's create a learner project. That's what we have here. Let's say it's an old Chevy truck. You're going to hire somebody or bring them in. We got to create in the budget of a training class. Let's say you got an old C10 truck. All right, you got 3 new hires. They're going to come in. Their job, this is a company vehicle. Their job is they're going to tear it apart and put it back together. Beautiful. It took you a day. You're going to tear it apart, put it back together again. It's going to take you 3/4 of a day. And take you half a day. And by the end of the week, those young people are going to have every nut and bolt, they're going to tap every hole. They're going to make sure everything is understood, bagged and tagged. That's how we learn. If you just throw them in on something, or you just say, hey, you're going to sweep the floor for 6 months, and that's how you're going to learn to be a real body guy.
No,
it
and,
doesn't
and just
work.
to be clear, that's not kind of what there's, I want to make sure I'm clear when I talk about sweeping the floor. It's not for 6 months. It's just every once in a while you have to
Yeah,
do that kind of work
for
that
sure.
you don't really want to do. You weren't really hired to do
Yeah,
that. You were hired to be a
yeah,
fabricator or painter, whatever.
yeah.
I like that concept of, taking a vehicle and taking it apart, put it back together, take it apart, put it back together. Just get better, learn
Mhm.
different ways to do things, shortcuts that you can take that work. They're not, just different ways to do stuff. Also, what is your thoughts on, I've talked to shops where they're busy, they bring a person in, they have them do the specific job, but the person wants to learn more. The shop owner says, look, I have this private project, my personal project that I work on after night and weekends. Love to have you stop by, but they never show up. Well, how,
Mhm.
putting in the extra time, you know, I remember when I started my business, I was working until 3 a.m. every night,
Right. Yeah. So it's who are we looking for? Are we looking for, you're going to have those few standout people that are driven, and those are the people that you'll nurture on that side that are super driven.
Yeah.
But in all reality, it's who are we looking for? The majority of people just want to work, they want to pay their bills, and they want to survive. And they want to grow at a normal pace. Then you'll get the crazy outliers. I was the same thing. I'm up till, kind of Red Bull and up chopping tops at 3 a.m. because we're outliers. That's what it is. You're gonna have a few of those that shine. The other thing too is, for us, is it's paid training. Everybody's paid. So that free labor, people got to earn it, and they got to get a kid in here, and they should work for free for a couple months to earn it. That, again, for me, what I've seen is that culture is dead. Those might be the few outliers that will want to do that, but it becomes just a frustrating space for everybody because of, well, I got this kid, they never wanted, I was going to let them learn and get free labor, and it just doesn't,
Yeah, that's not
doesn't
the right
pan
way to
out.
look at it for sure. Right.
Right?
Um,
It's just another way to look at it from the mind of, and I have a couple kids even in our program right now that if I say, hey, we're going to be here till midnight, we're doing this extra, that they would do it. But the overall numbers, it's a few and far between that are actually have that drive.
Gotcha.
Because we're crazy like that. That's a whole different, that's a different type of person.
Yeah. it's interesting. I read something once. Entrepreneurs are ADHD, right? It's a known fact, right? We just like
Yeah.
work a lot and you got lots of things going at the same time. But what percentage of your students actually end up in aerospace and automotive that actual long-term careers?
97%.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah. No, so we have 3 50-person semesters a year, so it's 150 kids a year come through the program. We're at, I think, like a 98% graduation. I think usually maybe one person will either be asked to leave or be put on pause throughout the semester.
Right.
Usually we graduate almost every person. And then again, I think out of our last class, we graduated 52 people, and we only have out of the 52, we only have 2 that are not working right now. Out of our last
Kidding.
semester that graduated 2.5 months ago, that are not working, predominantly aerospace.
No kidding.
Yeah, and it's working, and it's working with high retention. It's getting a job and keeping the job.
That's
That's amazing.
amazing.
Right.
Are
Yeah.
all these students are they all high school students, or do you have other you mentioned it, but I can't remember what you said. Are there students that come in even after they graduate high school?
Oh no, so this is all sorry, let me go back. This is all for 18 to 24-year-olds. So this is a
18
young
to
adult program.
24.
So back in the day, I started as just giving away cars as a raffle to raise money for
Yeah.
people that were homeless. Then created an after school program, and then COVID hit, and then we ended up stopping the after school program and just kept going with the young adult program, the 18 to they call it TAY, Transitional Age Youth. So now we are just a TAY program for 18 to 25-year-olds.
Okay, gotcha. So
With
they've
all
already
people,
they're either out of school or they graduated, whatever,
yeah,
but they want
yeah,
to like I took adult ed,
yeah.
shortly after
It's
all.
similar to yeah, we kind of almost create like an adult ed program. But if you have a driver's license or high school diploma, if you do or don't, you're still welcome in, and then we get you your high school diploma and your driver's license while you're here. So we run through. It's a lot more than just learning how to weld. It's we do all the wraparound services too, and that's a big part of the success is working with 18 to 24-year-old that are high barrier, low income. That's a lot of other things that they're dealing with. So we have a full
Right.
case management, job development department here that every young person goes through, and they're getting supported the whole time. So it's more than just how to work; it's how to survive as an adult and how to deal with life.
Yeah, some of those skills they may not have learned at home that's
Exactly.
a lot of listeners might take for granted is, essential for their long-term success.
Yeah. How to have a bank account. We do a
Right.
whole class on financial literacy and bank account, mock interviews. We do mock interviews every day. How to professionalism in the workforce, how to have a real professional email that's not
Right.
like Fraser 95, or some crazy email address, trying
Right. Yeah.
how do we build you up to look and appear and walk and talk like a real professional?
Now, I've got a question on that. So, I'm thinking outside of, the normal automotive or aerospace skills that they're learning and the life skills. How does that translate to their families and their communities? What have you seen on that?
Yeah, it's really cool where creating financial stability changes everything. So you get a young person, we have people that, really low income coming through the program. We had one guy that, they grew up living in trailer parks, undocumented parents, and kind of just surviving. Ended up coming to the program, graduating, getting a job at Northrop Grumman. He's working into a manager position at Northrop Grumman right now and making money and being able to support his whole family. So changing economic your whole path. It's then his sister came through. Sisters at Northrop Grumman too. So I have 2 siblings that are both making upward of 100 grand a year. I mean, it changes everything.
Oh,
So we
that's
got
huge with
yeah.
major opportunities to advance even further within the organization for
Oh,
sure, right?
100%. 100%. Yeah, that's what I said. It's how it changes the community and changes young people and their whole families. I mean, we had a young girl that come through, immigrant parents. She grew up working in the onion fields, working in the fields. She was born here, but that's just what the family did. She came through the program and she ended up working at an aerospace company. And the whole time she was coming to the program and she was showing her dad the stuff that she was welding and working on. Her dad didn't believe her the whole time. A young girl doing this type of stuff, and she's showing him welding the stuff that she fabricated, and he's like, "You didn't do that. You took pictures from the internet,
Right.
she ended up getting a job working at a big aerospace company out here, and then became an electrical engineer. I mean, she's making up over 100 grand a year right now, and it's phenomenal. I mean, you see young kids that are out that are making more money than their parents. It's kind of
Yeah.
uh,
That's
it's a
great.
really really cool thing. It's amazing.
Yeah. That's awesome. How do you promote the the career center? How do you get the word out? I mean, I've as an ARMO select committee member, Jason and I see your stuff all the time because you're collaborating with us. But what else
Thank you
do
for
you?
sharing. You guys are amazing, by the way. You guys shoot everything all over the internet. Thank you. That was a great collab. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I can tell you, that's a big part of the ARMO's growth and followers is the fact that you're collabing with us and we accept
yeah.
that. It makes a
Right.
big difference. And I'm
Yeah.
curious as far as, Instagram and other platforms and other marketing tools that you have in your toolbox, what's working, what's not, things like that.
Honestly, for us, it's word of mouth is more than anything. Social media, Instagram, I think that was really been our bread and butter forever. It's just getting the stories out there and getting them out there in a way to where it doesn't seem exploitative to the young people. If you look at, we don't really post things where it's like, hey, this is what a poor kid looks like, or hey, this is what a former foster person looks like, and it's like, hey, look at what we did for somebody. It makes it.
The Gearheads and Gasoline podcast is proudly sponsored by Redline Synthetic Oil. With a legacy of excellence and over 100 premium products, Redline provides motor oils, gear oils, assembly lubes, fuel additives, and water wetter for the automotive, racing, motorcycle, marine, and industrial markets. Known for their exceptional quality and technical expertise, Redline is trusted by enthusiasts and professionals alike. Discover their full range of products and expert support at redlineoil.com.
Redline Oil, formulated to win, proven by me.
Redline Oil, formulated to win.
Formulated to win?
Formulated to win, proven by me.
Formulated to win, proven by me.
Proven by me.
Proven by me.
Redline Oil, formulated to win, proven by me.
Weird. I think it's really highlighting the hustle has kind of been our push, is highlighting the hard work being done and the hard work that people are doing and the success that they're having. I think highlighting and showing those stories, that's really what I think that's part of the real mission. It's highlighting the hustle. How do we create a culture shift? It's instead of just showing the pocket full of money and the fast cars, it's like let's highlight the journey. Let's start incentivizing people to want to work hard and want to weld and want to create versus just want to be rich already. If that makes sense. That's kind of
Oh
been
yeah.
our model. But it's word of mouth. A lot of our young people here, they're friends that have someone that's been through the program, they're related, they went to school with, it's word of mouth and Instagram are really that's everything.
Nice.
Yeah, that's huge. And I can tell you the buzz in the industry, at least from my perspective, anyone and everyone that hears about it is like, oh, how do I get involved? How do I do more? What can I do to help these guys?
Yeah.
How can I give them exposure? Whatever it is,
Yeah.
it's really cool. And kudos to you and your team, man. It's really cool.
No, thank you guys. And I did want to just again, man, just really, you guys were kind of, we've got some great sponsors over the years, we're working with some great, amazing people, but it was really, I think this first launch with Armo and you guys really collabing, that was one of the things for us that really, I think that really stepped us up and put us on a broader,
Oh,
a broader
cool.
arena. More eyes got a chance to see us as we partner with a SEMA, a leg of SEMA that really helped a lot, and then getting us in to SEMA last year just launched. So thank you guys. Really, it was a huge help.
Oh, we're glad to have you for sure. I know Jason and I were out in California. We were hoping to try to visit and that didn't work out. But yes, you and I were on stage talking to at one of the educational sessions, and it was interesting because I asked a question. I was curious about you had a bunch of your young people there, and I asked a question about where do they spend their time online, and I said, how many use Facebook? And I had one hand pop up, and then they go, well, Facebook Marketplace. So
Yeah.
it was the answer I expected, right? But I
Yeah.
just
Right.
wanted to validate, and it was interesting. But it was cool to have all those kids there. Your students show up,
Mhm.
and you had 3 builds there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Last year was last year was a lot. Yeah, we had like we were so fortunate, man. It was just a lot of the right people got on board at the right time and really helped. We had obviously we had that Camaro, the LA Camaro in the Toyo Tread Pass booth. I got Carl from Toyo just opened the doors, and that was a huge platform for us. And then our friends at Boot Barn from Hawks Clothing Brand, at Boot Barn, we had an off-road truck we built that was in their Boot Barn booth over in the North Hall. That was huge. And then our super good friends from Iwata West, we had that little K truck we built that was up in the Iwata booth. That was huge. So it was 3 really, really important builds for us that we've been working on for a little while that we're able to debut out at SEMA. It was huge.
Actually, so we support. We have a build right now at Wayne Technical Career Center. It's a junior and high school students. It's actually where I went to school for auto services, and our team member Keith Bourgeois has a '69 Dart that AMD is supporting big time on that, and we have it over there. And it's interesting. We go over there and talk to them about. We talk to the students, and a lot of times when I talk to these students, they're there. Some of them, most of them really enjoy what they do, but they don't know for sure if they're going to get into the industry after. Some are doing work release programs where they go work, right? And I don't know how much you do this because I know I've talked to students when we're at Spring Carlisle for Armo. There's a lot of other jobs within the auto industry that you can do, back office, parts lookup, parts finder, people finding parts at shops, running the customer service desk, doing the social media for shops. Do you have team members? Would you talk about those other types of jobs that are in the auto industry, from restoration shop to performance shops to build shops, that maybe aren't hands-on, fabrication, painting, welding, but they do need all these other types of jobs too?
There are a lot of other avenues. Most of and that's a great point. And we don't actually have a lot of young people working in those other departments because for us, a lot of our kids, they're so focused on wanting to be hands-on with a lot of
Oh,
it.
good.
That we do offer some of that. We'll have some people come through on some of the media stuff. We go to events, they'll bring, like, some of our kids will bring a drone and they'll get some footage and we'll collab some of their footage. So we do help on some of the media and marketing stuff, working with some of them, but we haven't really created like a structured type of setup on it. It's a great point, and I think it's a good avenue to add that to stuff as we grow into it. It's a really good thing to actually think about.
I mean,
But
the
I think
reason
for
I
us,
say that is, and also even there's a lot of the advent of laser scanning and um, CAD and
yeah,
digital printing, all that. There's a lot of kids that grew up, you know, online gaming and all that stuff. They may not want to do the fabrication, but they want to work in the auto industry, even outside of just doing social media, like I originally said.
yeah.
Um, I'm curious where that's headed because all these shops are getting 3D printers, they're getting
Yeah.
scanners.
So that angle, 100%. So we developed a whole 3D print lab. So we have a tech our tech lab
Okay.
here that's part of our training, and we do that. I'm sorry, I thought you were talking about more
Well,
on like the
both
part side. But
both
yeah,
things. I should have been more clear on that. There's a lot of other. That's one of the other types of jobs
yeah,
that I would
yeah.
lump into that's
Gotcha.
technical, but it's not per se hands-on. Welding or
Yeah.
painting or whatever.
I guess, and I think for us on the engineering side, so we have a whole computer lab that I guess that's why it kind of gets lumped into that. But for us, we do keep it as it's still on the trade side because they have a CNC plasma table, they have the 3D printers, and then they're making stuff. They're working right along with everybody, so they're making the parts out of metal, and then they're going to weld them together and create them for a whole suspension part for our mechanic side. So it is another arm of at least how we're receiving it, another arm of the whole mechanic side, the whole engineering side. If anything, that department is almost a step up but it's still right in there with the mechanics and the welders and the fabricators. Because all of our fabricators, we're doing sub rails on an old Chevelle right now, and like we kind of design it, cut some stuff out of cardboard. We had to go into the tech lab, like, hey guys, can you make us this out of? Can you design this and plasma cut it out for us, please? So that's how we kind of walk into the tech lab, kind of very like, hey guys, like, can you help us? Like, we're cavemen.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. And then we ask, if they'll come out and scan a part for us, all of our team, everybody works together, if they'll come out and scan a panel so that they could 3D print and make us something for out on this floor. So it's just a whole nother arm of auto industry is that side of the engineering, the tech side. And they're doing all of it, working the computers plus welding, fabricating, plasma cutting. So it's very much all connected.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like, most of the shops across the country, you've got the exact same scenario over and over again.
Yeah.
Guys are doing this and asking for help on the technology. They need that trade.
Yeah, no, 100%. So it's nurturing that as well. And precision measurements and getting precision drilling. There's a whole nother side of that's more tech. But it's to be able to do all of it, to really, so somebody has a well-rounded feel of what's out there. So we break our semesters, we break our trainings into 4 separate groups. We have 50 people at a time. We break them into 4 separate groups. We have a welding and fabrication group, a mechanics group, a bodywork and paint group, and a tech lab. And what happens is everyone comes through, they break up into 4 groups, and they'll be in that discipline for 2 weeks. So we break them out 12, 12, 13, 13. 12 people. You'll be in the tech lab for 2 weeks, and then you rotate to the welding, then you rotate to the mechanics, then rotate to the body and paint. So you really, by the end of 8 weeks, every young person has a good, well-rounded feel of they've experienced everything, they've gotten hands-on, they've experienced all of it, and they realize they get to see where they feel the strongest. Everyone comes through, they all want to be welders. When they come through the first interview process, they all want to be welders. And by the time they run through everything, they realize, which I get it, welding's great. But by the time they come through it, they realize by the 8-week mark, they're like, man, I actually have an aptitude for tech lab's kind of my jam. I like creating stuff in the 3D printer. I like creating stuff on the plas table. Then we cut it and we weld it. I get to do both. Wait.
Right.
Or people that come through and they realize like, man, I love bodywork and paint. Or people that are like, I hate mechanics. I never want to do it again in my life. I'm more the tech guy. Put me in front of a computer. I'm going to design everything faster than anybody. That's my jam. So
that's
creating
cool. I like how you do that. To let them kind of sort it out over those 8 weeks, right?
Yeah, you let them figure out. You give them all the tools, and it's all extremely hands-on, and give them all the experience and all the tools for them to figure out where they feel the strongest. So versus they come through the door, they all want to be welders, and they realize a couple months in, I don't really want it. This isn't my thing. And that happens a lot. So many people go to college, they don't know what to sign up for. They sign up, they go, and they realize immediately this is not my thing.
I've heard so many. My nephew's a perfect example of that, right? He's didn't finish college. He went to 2 different colleges for 2 different things and found out just college wasn't his thing, right? What do you do? Where does electrical wiring and computer tuning, all the ECU, that kind of stuff with all the EFI and stuff fit in now?
So that kind of goes in our mechanics department. So we have 1 full day of teaching our 2-week rotation, teaching older, like hot rod style wiring, how to run a full wiring diagram. And we break it down and make it very fun. On a table, you go from a battery to a fuse panel, to a key switch, to a couple of toggle switches, to a couple of lights and a couple of horns. And you have to wire it up, follow the schematics, and everybody's working in teams. And they got to wire that up and have the horn work and the lights work. So everybody in the office, they know when it's wiring day because horns are going off all day long, and stuff, but it makes it fun. And then you get to race each other. It makes it fun. And then we have a second day of wiring where they're doing soldering and doing Deutsch connectors and doing more of the mil spec. So we do a couple days of the wiring, but to really dive deep into the whole tuning, it's almost too much too soon. They're not going to be as somebody just coming on into an automotive industry, and they're going to be like, you've seen it, but it's almost dangerous. You give someone too much information too soon, they don't know what they're doing. So it's kind of like giving people the right amount of info at the right time.
Gotcha.
Because it becomes almost overwhelming is a big thing, as well as we want to show everybody what we know and cram everything on them, but it's overwhelming is what we've seen it can be. So we got to make it tangible, make it fun, make it exciting, and make it like actually where they're learning and they're growing and they feel confident. We're not just giving them so much information they feel that they're just shot down and they don't even want to try again. If that makes sense.
Oh yeah,
That's what
that absolutely makes sense. You had talked in
the
the
approach.
go
The
ahead.
approach is everything.
Yeah,
Yeah, 100%.
yeah. It makes me want to come out to California for 8 weeks and go through your
Yeah.
8-week course.
I know, right?
Yeah. Come through. We'll cut some stuff up. It'll be fun. I promise.
Cool.
Yeah.
How do you get industry? Let me back up. You had mentioned about sponsors and people, businesses get involved. How do you get their buy-in? I know that for the trade school here locally, they're required by the state to have, they call them consultants come in, right? They brought us in as a marketing agency. They brought in people from body shops and collision shops and restoration shops to talk to the teacher so he can explain how the course work. They don't interact with the students much, but how do you get those companies to buy in, and how do they give you advice on what they need and things like that you might add to your curriculum? That's
Forgive me.
that's a long ass.
No. Honestly, this was something to be honest, we just created this from scratch out of thin air. So it really, there was no standard. This was really coming from a common sense place.
Yeah.
To be honest, and this is more. So this is a paid training program. So this is actually run more as an on-the-job training. So this is almost like a shop that we created. We create the lesson plan. We do everything in-house on our own. So we kind of create the standards. And when we work with employers, we talk with other employers and say, hey, we're willing to modify and train our program for what you need. What do you want out of an entry-level employee? And 90% of the time, they're just saying the work ethic piece is everything. They say, hey, if you get them to show up on time and be hungry and humble and be teachable, we'll take it from there. And that's really where we're at. So we're coming at it from a whole different perspective of, it's more of the common sense side of what does a good entry level worker look like.
Gotcha.
So again, let me back up. So every young person comes through. So this is actually, they're getting hired. They're working here for that 12 weeks. They're getting $18 an hour the whole time they're here. So we run this like a job. They're getting paid. This is a job for them.
Okay.
So this is
Yeah,
the
I didn't
first
realize
job
that.
on their resume. Yeah, this is actually the first job on their resume. So that when they graduate, that graduating certificate in the industry that we deal with, it stands for something. That's what we've been working towards, to where that graduate certificate stands for something. So when they see their resume and they realize, oh, you're a Los Angeles graduate, oh, I want to interview you, and they know the standard that they're going to have coming into that interview process and what type of employee that's going to be. So we don't really, we kind of create our own thing, and from what we've dealt with, we review all the employers that we deal with, and what we've dealt with is that, like, again, they're saying like, hey, get them to show up on time, be drug free, be hungry. That's really what they're looking for.
Yeah, because most of those companies, the bigger, like in aerospace, I'm sure have training programs and processes they put everybody through before they even let them on the shop floor, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let me ask you this. So if you've got this recipe for success, and I'm a shop owner, I'm a business owner listening to this or watching this, what's the franchise opportunity look like? How can I say, I don't want to take on 150 students, but I could get 2 or 3.
Yeah.
What is there a plan, or is there some kind of a blueprint that Aaron has for these guys?
No, and that's something that we're actually working with. We're kind of asked all the time, like, where are you guys? Where people want us to grow and move and expand to other areas, and that's on our horizon. I would love to be able to do that, and that's kind of what we're doing. We have a pretty good formula that we've been working on and really creating a lot of the stuff to where we can replicate. We're actually looking at expanding this year into the greater LA area to kind of be able to support a lot more of the more Southern California jobs that are open right now that our kids just can't commute to. So we can kind of set a location. We're looking at Detroit, looking at Florida, we were just talking with some of our friends from Oregon that are going, man, we have space. We got a lot of young people up here. We could train them. How's this work? What can we do? So that's something that we are working on, of how to replicate and how to grow and how to be able to find other people that are kind of like ourselves that see that, man, we can create an avenue. There's a lot of young people that we have the tools, we have the space. we can create this, and we can work with employers and get people into these jobs to save these companies from really just collapsing, from not being able to meet deadlines, that they don't have the workforce.
Well, that's
And yet there's a huge workforce that needs to be trained. So I mean, the it's all there. We just got to create that bridge to connect the two.
yeah.
So we're working on it. So 100%. I'd love to continue those conversations and see. I think on the smaller scale, my advice is, we were talking about, for, let's say, a shop in wherever, they're low on workforce. I would say create that that small training program for those 3 to 5 people, and have a vehicle that they're gonna tear apart, put back together, tear apart, put back together, and create that lesson plan off of that, and create a 2-month training program, paid training. And young people gotta be vetted. There's standards. They gotta come in. They gotta be drug free. You gotta be able to vet that they're really hungry and gonna hit it hard.
Gotcha. There's
Yeah.
Mike Rowe. I saw a post by Mike Rowe. He was ever since there's been a lot of conversation about bringing jobs back to the U.S. and things like that. All these data centers being built. I know this is outside of the aerospace and the automotive, but he's getting emails from CEOs saying, "Hey, where do I find the people that I need to do these jobs?" And he may even be getting some of those from aerospace. And he says they're in 8th grade.
Right.
He says, I've been talking about this for years. And now there's a big problem, right? Across all industries, from electrical to plumbing to
Yep.
automotive to aerospace, where we took shop classes out of school. We took a lot of things. And when I say shop classes, not just automotive, it's woodworking and other
Yeah.
things that have been taken out of the school. So the kids don't even, I know you're working with 18 to 24, but even in high school, they're not getting exposed to that.
Yeah.
And even here, our trade school, the teacher said, there's 2 of them here. One's closer to a bigger city. The one he's at is more out in the country. He said, when I worked at the school by the near the city, a lot of kids didn't even know what a hammer was. Out here, I have kids that
Yeah.
grew up on farms, so they have a clue, right? And that's
Right.
that's sad to me that some basic things some kids don't even know these days.
Yeah. No, we see it every day. Yeah, we see it every day. And it's just from, it's our fault.
Oh yeah.
Honestly,
No,
we created this. It's our fault. This our age group and the people just above us. We created this space. I look at it too. There's a generation of people that, or for years, people just, they killed themselves carrying 3 bags of concrete, and just broke their bodies down. And then that was the generation of, like, don't be like me, kid. Go to college. Don't work hard. Go to college. Be smart. And it was like, they kind of created a generation of people that we devalued blue collar work, and we devalued it. So we did it to ourselves. So it's actually, I'm going to say the people that were older than me, because we still had, I was the tail end of it. I still had auto shop, and I still had wood shop, but believe it or not, yeah, I had it, but to be honest, it was so unregulated. That was just a place that you went to smoke cigarettes and talk to girls.
Right.
To be honest,
Right.
it
Same.
wasn't that's to be honest, that's what I've seen with a lot of stuff in schools. I think it's amazing, and they are starting to bring it back, but I think there has to be a real structure. When you throw people into an automotive elective class, that's just, everyone's like, all right, I'm gonna take it because I have to have it, whatever. You don't take it serious. You have an instructor like yourself, like myself, and now you're trying to force feed information that 90% of your class doesn't care about. They're there just as a forced class. And you got 2 kids in there that are like hot rodders or little street race kids that like are excited, and everyone else is just like, doesn't care. That's the formula that devalues shop class.
Well,
So
exactly. We had
you have to make it to where something that you have to apply, and it becomes so that you're only getting the ones that really want to be a part of it, not just people that are forced into it and devalue the whole thing.
Yeah. We
Sorry, that's my thought on the high school situation. I have no thoughts, but I think it's beautiful. We have to bring it back.
Yes, yes, we do. When I was going, I went junior and senior year, and we got on the bus and went to another building. All the schools sent the kids to this one, the career center. The problem, there was a stigma though. There was some kids that did that just to get the heck out of high school, for those couple hours every day. There's people like me that wanted to go in the industry and learn, but there's also a stigma that, oh, they go on the little bus every day, you know,
Oh, okay.
and the, you know, some of the, and so the people didn't, a lot of kids didn't, even the kids didn't know, you know, why do they go over there every day, right? They weren't educated properly. But anyways, let's talk about something positive here.
I think they
Go
get the last laugh because I think those people are making money as shop owners and owning a plumbing company right now, and they get the last laugh as far as I'm concerned. I think that's the spot right now because same thing. I grew up and I was in all those classes and I had an IEP. I didn't, we moved a lot, so I never really went to school, and so I was in all of the I was in continuation school, so I was in all of that stuff, right? So we're looked down as being like the dummies and the troublemakers and all of that. And all of us with ADD, but meanwhile, we're the ones that own all the blue collar companies and that are working and have boats and jet skis and kind of doing better. I had a conversation the other day, and the guy was telling me, he's like, dude, we used to be the dumb ones in class, and now I own my own business. Like,
Now look at us.
and people that used to think that I was dumb, they went on an academic path, and they don't have a job right now.
Yeah, and I took in I for years I had on my social media, might still say there that I went to the school Hard Knocks. I never went to high school. I mean, sorry, I never went to college. I was going to go to auto services. Life happened, but I had a college educated guy make this post once of just looking down on everybody that had that on their profile, and it's like, wait a minute, time out. I worked my butt off to get where I am. I have a successful business. I get to do what I want. And there's a lot of other people like us that didn't go to college that have succeeded, right? Why do you have to have a stigma because somebody said that, right? I just, that frustrates me. So, do you have one really amazing success story of a graduate that's gone through your school?
Today's podcast is sponsored by Motorhead Digital. Motorhead Digital are digital marketing experts for your automotive aftermarket, restoration, performance, race, and restyling shop. They help you supercharge your shop's website, social media, and entire online presence to attract those badass customers you're looking for. Check us out at motorheaddigital.com.
Hundreds. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's funny. I literally, we could we have everybody's picture, every graduate, we have their pictures up on the wall from their graduating class, and under their name, it's a little tag of where they're currently working. And it's, I'd love for you guys to come down and just kind of walk through the hallway to see that, but no, there's so
Not just one.
and they're constantly progressing too. To be honest, so we did have one of our kids, his name's Chris Rubio, and he came through our program, graduated, and then we kept him on as a TA, a technical assistant, for the next like 6 months. He worked with us, staying on board as like helping the next class. He just came back. He got hired at Lockheed, and in the last 2 years, he's grown to a lead. He just came by here 2 weeks ago, and he was just like, dude, the kid got me emotional. I was like, you need to get out of here. You made me cry right now. But he's telling me how he became a lead, and he was one of the youngest, fastest leads. He broke the record on how fast he was able to grow through that department. He's a lead. I don't know who's going to watch this. I don't want to throw too much of his info, but he's making an amazing salary right now, pre-overtime. And he said last year I did like 500 hours of overtime last year. So where he's at, where he's going to be as a 25-year-old lead at Lockheed it's phenomenal. It's like record breaking, seriously. And just the gratitude, and it was like, man, I appreciate you saying thank you to me, but honestly, you did the hard work, bro. We just had the tools and the setup, but you did all the hard work, man. You did everything yourself. And it was just a really, really cool conversation to have and see where he's at and like the life that he has right now as a 25-year-old.
Wow.
I mean,
that's amazing.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And there's more like him, is what you're saying too.
Yeah,
right.
There's a lot more. Yeah, a lot more just like him. Yeah.
So what's the toughest part of your work that nobody sees?
Okay, so how much time we all of it. But where we're at right now, so we have, let's say we have 150 kids a year come through the program. Almost everybody graduates, gets jobs. We have last month, on average, we have about 150 kids applying to the program every month. So vetting and creating a space for all of them to onboard and be ready. The math isn't mathing. It's not being able to be everything to everybody is a hard
So
space.
some people you turn away then just because
Yeah.
you don't have the space.
It's sitting on a wait list. It's waiting for them to come on. And not everybody, we have 150 kids apply. Not everybody, about 20% of that is 20% of those are ready to go, that they're like ready to go. They fit the criteria. They fit the barrier assessment. And again, we only work with high barrier, low income kids. We work with people that need that leg up, and people that come through and they're not meeting that high barrier setup. It's we can get them on a career path. We can set them up on another path of who's hiring and give them, do a resume building thing with them real quick or something. But we're working with people that really need that leg up, coming from a lot of undocumented parents, a lot of either justice impacted, someone in their families, or them been arrested, been in and out of jail, former foster. It's coming from a different side of life, people that need that leg up. Those are our kids. Those are people
They're in a
that
situation where they had no control over it, right? Due to
young,
parents or whatever, right?
young men and women. We have young girls that come to. We're our female percentage is growing every semester. It's great. Last semester, I think we had 16 out of 50 young girls that were here and did amazing. Honestly, it's crazy. Young women. It's not crazy. It's fully believable. But young women actually end up being better welders than the men, and it makes them so frustrated. It's hilarious. But it's really funny. But it's amazing to see young women that are being empowered and coming into the industry and doing great. And I will say, from three guys right here, a lot of us don't realize what it's really like for young women, young single mothers. Is forget it. It's
Right.
You cannot be. It's impossible to be successful without real support as a young mother. That's a single mom that has a kid. It's formulas that a lot of people don't realize. You have a young mom has a kid. It's like, oh, well, the kid in daycare. We'll even pay for daycare. It's fine. Well, when that kid is sick, no daycare will take a sick child. And if you don't have a kid, so now you have a young mother that came out of foster. So she has no grandmother, nobody else to watch that kid. Now she has a couple of days she has to take off of work. Kids are sick all the time. A couple of days of that. Now she can't work. That happens, and that's like an unseen formula that most people don't realize that that's a real life scenario that happens constantly. So it's understanding that a lot our young people are facing a lot of other barriers that people maybe of means, of support systems don't realize that people are facing. So that's us, responsibility that we need to be able to highlight and understand that for the industry to be able to understand what that really looks like for people to be successful.
Yeah, thanks for that. Some things I didn't even think about, right? For sure.
Yeah. There's a lot of for people that are coming from different backgrounds of, what it takes to really be successful. So sometimes people are dealing with a lot more than just, I got to learn focus on my math, and quit smoking weed. It's sometimes there's a lot more barriers than people understand.
Right. Well, let me ask you. So if someone's watching this or listening and they really want to support the mission, support the cause of Los Angeles, what are the best ways they can get involved with that?
So I'd love, contact us, hit us up on the website, send an email, call, set up as an employer, as someone being able to looking at hiring some people, even out of our area. Some of our young people have moved to Mississippi. We have a couple people working out of the country that are willing to relocate. So that's a great opportunity. Being obviously the amazing spot of being able to donate and keep the program going. Being able to sponsor it's free to our young people. It still costs us. So we're out there, writing grants and keeping that going and looking for sponsors and donations constantly. So being able to inquire and seeing how you might be able to sponsor or work with some of our young people or work with our organization to keep the program going, to be able to incentivize and pay for more people to come through the program. And then just honestly, working on some of the builds, like you guys, Jason from AMD, from Automotive Direct, and that really was an amazing first opportunity. Again, that just kind of kept growing, and more people came on board to sponsor parts for some of the builds, so people get good quality parts and tools to work with and to be able to be hands-on with. Tool companies working, looking for sponsorships for parts and tools is always such a huge thing, because our kids, we're going through, tools and parts and stuff like crazy. So that's always a huge one. And even tool sponsorships for young people to, give out little toolkits when they at graduation for people to take off to their next job, to have a little socket set and tape measures and have stuff like that, to be able to take that stuff that people keep forever. So there's so many ways to get involved and sponsor. And at the very, very least, it's being able to take a story, take what we're doing, and share it on your own social media and have it grow, have it spread, and show people what's out there and how differences in this industry are being made on a really young level.
That's awesome. So
That's really
that's
cool.
a good segue into our speed round, Aaron. And so I have 4 questions for you.
Oh,
Okay.
we're doing a speed run. Okay.
We're ready. You ready for
All
your
right.
speed round?
All right.
These are 4 questions. Try to answer them right off the top of your head. Don't need to
Okay.
put too much thought into them. But what's your favorite driver or team, hot rod, muscle car, or truck?
Driver or team?
Just one or the other. You can give us driver, team, or hot rod, or whatever you want to do.
Honestly, we've been getting a lot into drifting lately. The
Oh,
last
really?
couple of years, we've been getting a lot into drifting and have a lot of fun with that. And the drifting is I think it's because it's more with our young people. Again, I come from like the old school side,
Yeah.
but a lot of our young people, they don't know what a Model A is. They don't know. They understand what a 350Z and a drift and a Beamer and a S13. They understand that. So we started getting into that and realizing, man, I'm actually having a lot of fun going out and drifting and having fun. So actually, like our guys from Hot Pit, Jeff Jones and RJ and a lot of guys from the drifting world that have just reached out. It's such a cool kind of grassroots. You don't have to have a whole lot of money or be of means to get into drifting. So
Nice.
that industry, we've been having a lot of fun. A lot of our young people are getting excited. And it's such a welcoming, kind of open arms. Really, really, everybody I've met has been so cool and so just kind of coming through with tons of info and parts and just. So I think all the whole Hot Pit team and the people from NRG, yeah, it's just, I can go on and on with that. It's a lot of great community in the drift world.
Nice. I
Yeah.
need to. I've watched some drifting at SEMA, but I have
Yeah,
no clue how it works. I'll be honest with you.
controlled chaos. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, it's really fun.
Okay. What's your favorite tool in your toolbox?
Hmm. Okay, so 2 things. Then it's these are very, very, like, to me on my keychain. I don't have it. I don't have it on me, but on my keychain, I've had for the last 20 years. I don't even know how I got it, but it is my favorite tool. It is a 4-inch crescent wrench, just a small vintage original crescent on
Oh,
it
really?
from, I think, Jamestown,
Yeah.
New York, like an original old school 4-inch crescent wrench that's on my keychain that I've had for so long, and that has saved me on the side of the road more times than I'd like to admit, especially when I used to ride
Yeah.
Harleys. I think it helped me out a lot. That little 4-inch crescent wrench has saved me, and then I also have a wrench. Again, it's a vintage wrench I've had forever, and it's a double box end wrench, and it's
Mhm.
1/2 inch and 9/16, and it's got a little curve on either up and down either one.
Mhm.
And that is my favorite tool, and it's like that is Aaron's tool in the whole shop. Where is it at? Like that has to go back up. You use to put it back for getting distributors, for getting a small block Chevy that just
Yeah.
handed down. That is those tools right there. Those are my 2 favorite. I bury me in my coffin with both of those tools.
You're right.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay. Do you have a favorite racetrack, automotive event, or car show?
Um, yeah, honestly, we've been working with the people from Willow Springs, the people that just took over and bought Willow Springs Raceway out here in Roseman, California.
Uh-huh.
That's kind of where I learned how to drive and get out there and start sliding around and having fun. And it went through it was up for, as soon as I started getting into it, it went for sale, and it was like, dude, come on, man. And then the new owners honestly have been people from Cross Harbor, and that whole team have been so welcoming with open arms. And then we started doing track days with our young people, our kids. So we just did one. We're getting ready to do the next one this weekend on Sunday. We'll be out there teaching all of our current class how to drive. Most of them just want to learn manual. So it's teaching stick shift and then doing some ride-alongs with a couple of us as drivers, and then teaching them by the end of the day how to do some donuts and little figure eights. So honestly, hands down, Willow Springs has been the best track out there, and all the people have been so cool and just an amazing team.
That's nice, because when I saw that go up for sale, I was worried that it would get bought for some
Yeah.
development or something like that, right? And it's
Yeah, we
cool
all
that,
were. We thought, oh man, solar fields or something like
yeah,
that. No, they're keeping it, and they're gonna keep growing it and keep expanding. So we're excited. It's been a great partnership so far.
great.
Yeah.
And kids learning to drive a stick. I'm a stick
Yeah,
guy, right?
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
anyways, the last question is usually the hardest one. What's the best advice you received and from whom?
Um, that's funny. Okay. So so years ago, man, 25 years ago or something, when I first got put on, I always thought old cars, and custom cars were cool, but I never thought I didn't grow up around it. Never thought I'd be into it. I just thought that was some rich people stuff, to be honest.
Hmm.
I didn't thought it. Um, I had, uh, I was getting some tattoos covered up, and I first got clean and sober. I was just coming out of like a rehab center back in like '99, and I was getting some tattoos covered up, and there's this dude. His name was Baby Ray, gnarly old dude who spent like, I don't know, half his life in prison. But he was from that car club, the Beatniks, which are like real old school, chop
Oh, yeah.
top, lowrider, old school cats, and a lot of artists and musicians. He had a '54 Chevy that was a chop top. I think it was on hydros at the time. This was in '99, maybe 2000, and he had it in the parking lot, and I'm in there, and this dude's really intimidating, but and I'm in there, we got talking about cars, and he's like, oh man, you like my sled out there? And I was like, I don't know, I don't know what a sled is. What are you talking about? And it was this chop top '54 Chevy. So we got talking about cars the whole night, and as he's tattooing me, and he's like, oh, you got to get this, you got to do that, and I'm just really into it. And he says, man, I was like, man, I can't afford that. And he looked me dead in the eye and just like, he said, Holmes, you can't afford not to. And I was like,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
right, like,
That's
and I
deep.
really like, and to be honest, it was like hot rods and custom cars and lowriders like saved my life, man. It gave me something to obsess on, gave me something positive to put my energy in, and definitely it saved my life and gave me something to focus on. So that whole like, man, I can't afford it, and it was like, man, you can't afford not to. That was definitely, yeah, that was a turning point for me. And then we went around Hollywood, driving around in this car, and it was just like I was hooked, man. That was back before the internet, so I was looking at like all the auto traders and like going to any magazine shop and just devouring information as much as I could, and going to Bob's Big Boy in Burbank on Friday nights and just looking at all these cars that were like half done, half chopped. And you could see these under construction progress builds. And like every time I went to an event or went to a show, that was like a college seminar for me to see these under construction builds. That's how I got to learn how to do a lot of stuff, is watching other people's projects getting built.
Oh, that is a cool story. I love it. And that was during the time when you wanted to find out about a part or an AMD fender, you had to send a letter to AMD and say, "Can you send me your catalog?"
Yeah.
People don't get how easy it is these days to, you know. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. Thanks, Aaron, for joining us today. Can you tell people how to reach out to you, how to find you? I know we talked about that earlier, but let's end it with, what's the best way to get connected with you and Los Angeles Career Center?
Yeah, I mean, our Instagram, to be like, I would always tell people, jump right on our IG, Los Angeles Career Center, just to really see firsthand what it looks like, what's going on. Right there's all the links to go to our website. Please email, call, send a letter, whatever it takes, But yeah, just reach out. Honestly, send a message through Instagram, TikTok, and then just send an email just to reach out and create contact, and then see what next steps would be, depending on how anyone would want to get involved, whether come through the program, sponsor the program, sponsor tools, parts, or any support. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thanks, Aaron. Thanks, Jason, for joining me as a guest co-host. And thanks everyone for watching Gearheads and Gasoline, where we're fueling your success.
We know you don't want to miss an episode, so don't forget to smash that bell so that you get notified of every new episode. Click that like button, leave us a comment, and share with your people. And visit us repeatedly. We love it.